Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, March the 9th, 2023. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds that you can afford to do without. Good morning, Private Eye. All right. All right. Interesting morning so far. All kinds of things going on our energies. Market opens in less than a minute, so we'll come back to that. We've got a get in sync short on the YM that will come up when we hit, maybe come up when we hit, unless it stops out here. That stop is at 21. We've gotten as high as 20. Soybeans is flat. Well, I'm sorry about that. Having to take care of a trade on my live account. All right, and we finally did just close out of our third trade on crude oil. All right, the YM did stop out of the Actually, that was a long that was a get in sync. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it did stop. The long meandered about has a stop and reverse at 324. It has not triggered in yet, looks like. So we actually should be in the long trade there. Soybeans picked up a short, 15.24 even. Right there. Well, unleaded, not getting very lucky. Ticking into a long and taking a full stop out. I'll cover that in just a minute. Soybeans, target 1 and 2. Stop at 23 3/4. That's going to be a one and done session. YM still in the long. The Russell getting started quickly, but that goes too far to get involved with too quickly. Then we pick up a possible long. Yeah, that one looks to me like it would likely have been avoided, spiking up through and coming down pretty quickly. Short. That one definitely triggers in and unfortunately is a full loss. So then now we're in the long, another long trade on the Russell. Still in the dark blue long on the YM back over here where my cursor is. This one cancels out the potential stop and reverse to short, which did not trigger. Original setup was at 28. So key level adjust would be at 26 and stop and reverse adjust would put it at 26 and key level would bring it down to 24, which was never hit. And there is target 1, so that will be a one and done session. 38 ticks to target 1. So the YM and the Russell making money management. Stop at 80.8. We can borrow that stop now at 954 on the YM, and it, let's see. Low was 55, so it did not stop out until, still 55. So it has not stopped out. Still long on the YM. 15.23 flat for the trailing stop on soybeans, and the YM did just stop out. That completes the trade for a one and done session there. And the Russell stopped out for a break even. Micro Russell on Catapult. YM and crude on Spotlight. Unleaded on Spotlight. Pound Aussie on Spotlight. Pound Aussie's had a rough morning. It initially had the get in sync long, and that then was a full stop out and reversed to short at the full stop, and then took a second full loss. And soybeans stopping out at 15.22 3/4, picking up 11 and 17 ticks on the two targets it hit. 24 to 22.75 is 5 ticks. So we got 28 and an additional 10, 5 ticks times 2 positions. So 38 ticks, 9 points, actually 9.5 points, and one and done session. All right, now let's take a look at the energies now that soybeans and crude are done. So initially, let's see, we have a 9 o'clock start. Actually, it looks like, well, it looks like, yeah, that got a break-even stop of 2 ticks. That was just before start. Then you had this one at 1 second after. Well, actually, no, that was too fast to have, still too fast to have traded. So first trade is the short at 9:02.53. That meanders back and forth, stops and reverses at 77.31 from 24 actually. So that's a 14 tick loss, 7 tick risk there. Comes up, hits target 1 for 9 ticks, and then picks up a 1 tick break even at 32, making it 10 ticks. So we're still down 4 after 2 trades, so we can take the third trade. We get into the short, it looks like. That's a 30-odd second bar, so I would say you're probably in that. If not, then the long is the proper trade, and it hit target 1 and stopped out for a single tick. So that's going to get us positive if you didn't get the short. If you got into the short, the long was a stop and reverse, and that moves up to 46 and doesn't even hit that entry until way over, and that's actually an exit point because that's the third trade. The short is the third trade. So you'd exit it, that would be a full stop out at 46. So down 4, that one would have been a loss of 38, loss of 42 if we got into the short. If not, then looks like we pick up 11 to target 1 because we have a 3 tick adjustment. No, that's right. If we didn't get the short, that's not a stop and reverse. So it's going to be 14, 15. So we're at plus 11 on the day. Not big, but positive. Just depends on whether or not you were able to execute the short or not. Unleaded was kind of interesting as well. Starting off at 9 o'clock, we don't get anything until 9:11. We get into the long, meanders about, same thing. We stop and reverse to short at 59. So we're short. Stop and reverse would keep us out even if you tried to get that, but that's a 200 EMA trade, which is not part of the standard trade plan. So actually we'd remain short either way, whether that was on the chart or not, because you stop and reverse adjust would have avoided it. So it comes down for money management. We're not even in this short. Picks up a target 1 for target 1 traders, and that would have gotten target 1 trade. Now, let's see, how much did we lose? 84 to 59 is 25. So we lost 50 ticks on that one. Target 1 was 44. And where would we have gotten to? Balance line would have been 48. So 51 would have been the stop. And it would have stopped out there. Just 8 ticks. 44.52. You'd be 2 ticks positive for target 1 traders, but that would be the end of the session. 2 and done. Target 2 traders would have lost the 50, but you'd have only gotten the 8 times 2, giving you 16. You'd be down 34. This short would have become a get in sync at that point, but it never triggers in. And you pick up the long here at 69.77, and that goes for a full stop out. 46, so that's 92. You're down 126. Your next trade is this short, or this long rather. And let's see, where is our money management on that? Oh, okay, money management's, yeah, just above the exhaustion dot. So you do pick up a target 2 there, 30 ticks. So you're down 96. You go from 44 and you stop out at 48, down 92. And that's where you are. Still trading unleaded. All right. The Russell lost number 2. And now a long trade that just did hit money management just now. Yeah, plenty of time to get in that on the first bar. And that stops out at break even, so that's 2 break evens, 2 losses. Not a nice day on the Russell. Short trade on unleaded. For target 2 traders only. All right, and ooh, that unleaded short taking some heat. All right, intra-bar move of the stop was a break even on the Russell trade. If you wait for the club bar close, it makes it a win. There's target 3. Calculator's tracking, but by our normal operational mode, we would have stopped out at break even on that pullback. On the bar where it started to, where it got to money management. All right, there is a 200 EMA long trade that would be a stop and reverse from 7,001. Would have triggered in. It would have been a full stop out without it. So I'll go ahead and follow that. Okay, that's exactly where that belongs. And there's money management and target 1. We're not taking target 1. Stop will come to, and yep, there's target. So stop comes now to, I'd make that 7,002, even though that is a major key level. We hit target 2, so I'm not going to let it come back and take a cut into that profit, or can't actually give us any more loss than we already have, because we are down at the moment. That is a nice 59 tick profit, but still down. And we're down 92 going into the short. Short went 56 to 01, so that's 45. That's another 90 ticks down, so we're down 182. 59 got us to 123. And now we're at 714, 7014 for the stop. 017. Still in it. Then there you go, out into the short at 7,009. Let's see, how many trades have we got here? That was 1, 2, 3. No, that one didn't. That one never triggered in. 3, 4, 5. That ends the session. You don't take the short. And we will go look at MNQ. And looks like that set up just a bit too early for us to get involved in. It's a nice trade, but before our start time. Russell stopped, he got out of the long now in a short. Possibility that it could have pulled back on that bar. Going through targets, target 3, we'll call that a win. Maybe, maybe not. That is trade number 5. It's a little over 6 minutes to go to our 10 a.m. crude mini session, and I've got the comments covered up. Sorry about that. Martin. Good morning, Pamela. Arizona Bob. For day trading, I find Spotlight to be more productive. It's a little bit pickier about the trades it takes. And I really haven't done enough work with Catapult to switch over. I'm in the mode at the moment of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But to answer your question, Martin, upper right is the YM on a 14-tick range bar or 14-point momentum bar if you're on TradeStation. Bottom right is, and that's on Spotlight. Bottom right is Counterpunch, 5-tick range bar on soybeans. 5-tick range bar, 1 1/4 point momentum bar, depending on your platform. Top center is crude on Spotlight using an 8-tick range bar, 8-cent momentum bar. Unleaded we were looking at, bottom center was also on Spotlight using a 20-tick range bar or a 0.002 momentum bar for TradeStation. Same thing. And I'm going to come back and make another comment on Jeff's question here in a minute, but after I get through all of these. What we've got now on the bottom center is the micro NQ on Catapult. That is a 12-point Renko bar with a 3-point offset. It's a custom Renko in TradeStation. I'm using Unirenko on NinjaTrader. It's a 12-tick trend 12-tick trend, 36-tick offset, open offset, and 84-tick reversal. But that matches up to the TradeStation custom Renko 12-point brick 3-point offset. Top left is the Micro Russell M2K, also Catapult, and it's a Renko bar as well, 1.5-point brick, 1/2-point offset for a TradeStation custom Renko. That's a 15-tick brick with a 5-tick offset for NinjaTrader. Using Unirenko, I'm using a 5-tick trend, 10-tick open offset, and a 25-tick reversal. And the final chart, lower left, is the Pound Aussie currency pair, spot currency pair, using an 80-tick or 8-pip range bar. So that's an 8-pip momentum bar for TradeStation. And that is on Spotlight. And the Micro Russell, strong win on the short side. So that's going to be our last trade. That's trade number 6. Max 6 trades. But this one might just get us positive, I think. We got target 2 and target 3 and 4 And we're at 77.3 for the trailer at the moment. M2K chart setting is a custom Renko, 1.5 point brick with a 0.5 point offset. TradeStation denotes all of their range type bars by price movement, by actual price movement, so you have to know what the tick value is. Whereas NinjaTrader denotes range type bars in ticks rather than in price. That was an obvious one, Jeff. The @ symbol is just a shifted 2, and since you were using caps for the M and the K, that was pretty obvious. Okay, back to Jeff's question of why I choose Spotlight over Counterpunch or Catapult. And I've actually been working with Troy since just before Counterpunch came out initially. So I've traded Counterpunch when it came out, and then tested Spotlight when it came out, and then did switch to it for day trading because it is a little bit pickier and tends to stay out of choppy action a little bit better most of the time. And all of them, you'll have periods where none of them work. But for the shorter time frames of day trading, it's a little bit pickier about the trades it takes, is overall more profitable, and is more consistently profitable, which is a good very good thing. I've done a little, when Catapult first came out and the modular stuff, most of the charts were time based, and a lot of the 5-minute charts just didn't suit the way I wanted to get in, get out. They tend to be longer time period trades. And I really haven't gone back to revisit some of the Renko bars and that sort of thing. Although I see some things that I kind of like, and I'm going to go back and test some of the Renko bars and so forth. Some Renko bars and possibly some range bars. But so far I just haven't had a reason to push me off of Spotlight. As I said, it's more a matter of it ain't broke, so I'm not looking to fix it. But that's really where I am now. I will say I definitely, you like Troy, I like Counterpunch for swing trading, because Spotlight tends to be a little too picky for your longer term swing trades. You just don't get enough trades on the exactly, Jeff. If it's working, why change? But on swing trades, Spotlight often will not give you enough trades to make it worthwhile on a swing trade chart. And so that's why that's a major reason why I've gravitated toward counterpunch for swing trading. And counterpunch is also what all of the charts on the Spotlight FX signal service are based on. All right, 10 a.m. crude session. Looks like we're actually getting no, we're flat. Let's see. Yeah, we've got to get in sync on this short trade. And I got to see if it actually triggered. Yeah, should be in the short. Lots of back and forth around it. All right, triggering in again. Yeah, the crude oil inventory report session usually is Wednesday. The report usually comes out Wednesday at 10:30. Unless there's a Monday holiday, it will come out Thursday at 11, which is usually about once a month. And every once in a great while, it will be delayed to Friday at 11. That's happened once in the 8 years. Yeah, 8 years that I've been trading crude inventory report with Troy. All right, MNQ picking up a long trade after coming out of that early trade. All right. Micro Russell is done, having stopped out right at 10 o'clock. Still short on crude. 10 a.m. mini session. So micro Russell is done. We're in the first trade on the micro NQ. Two losses this morning on the pound Aussie, and that's all the trades we've had so far. And approaching money management on the crude. If we can work through, something that I didn't check this morning, but we're going to be getting close. No, not yet. Still, volume still on March for our E-minis, looks like. Yep, June volume hasn't ramped up yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see it either tomorrow or Monday be the rollover there. So be aware. And also a reminder to all those not in the U.S. and to those in Arizona. Time change this Sunday. We spring forward into daylight savings time in the U.S. Arizona Bob, I know that doesn't affect you. You effectively go from mountain to you stay in Mountain Standard Time, but that's going to match up, be exactly the same as Pacific Daylight Time. So you're now just like the West Coast come this weekend time-wise. Those in Europe, I believe you go on to daylight saving time in the next week or two, but not quite this early. So we'll be shifted an hour against you for a while. All right, we get a stop and reverse on the MNQ. I usually give it 1 point, so 22, definitely in that. And money management and target 1 on crude, so that will be a one and done session for 10 a.m. I hear you, Arizona Bob. I lived in Midland, Texas, which is desert shot, not quite as arid as Arizona, but very close. And I was still happy to have the extra daylight in the evening. And being on the western edge of the time zone, we had long evenings anyway. Or longer evenings than most. Yes, it is. We didn't get quite that bad. 105 was not too terribly unusual, but we didn't break 110, but very seldom. Yeah, no, thank you. Private eye asking me to come north. I'm actually in central North Carolina now, which is actually where I grew up. Yeah. Yeah. You only think it's like living on the sun. The trick is it's so dry, the low humidity out there. Even when it's when it's doing that, it's pretty bad. But it can get to be pretty chilly. And I've been out to Phoenix a couple of times and several times in February, March, and the days actually can be really nice, but in the evenings it gets chilly real fast, and you start getting a north wind at that time in the morning, first thing in the morning, and it can get downright cold. I bet it has, Jeff. Target 2 on crude. Crude giving back what the up move it had from 9 to 10 this morning. It's been a while since I played in the snow much. Close to 30 years. I used to play in the snow a fair amount before I moved to Midland. That's 28 years ago. All right, crude through target 3. Basic trade plan is just 2 targets. Done with that trade, but 77.61 is the trailer. MNQ still short. Trying to decide if it's going to push lower. And the micro Russell at session lows. Micro NQ up just off the session highs now. And the YM about two-thirds of the way back down from its session high to getting about 2/3 of the way back down to session open. But looks like MNQ and the Dow are both in positive territory, whereas micro Russell is down in negative territory and setting session lows. That's one of the things that I find with Spotlight is because it's a true price action, so it's a range bar. The trades are more consistent size. They don't vary nearly as much. And there is a solid move down on the MNQ. Hitting target 2 and target 3. Did we get to target 3? It's close. Looks like we hit it. Target 3 was 82 3/4. And that's exactly where we got to. And we touched that a couple of times. Actually, looks like we got it. Yeah, we got a little bit lower than that on the next bar. So definitely have target 2 and 3 in hand. Trailing stop at 302 flat. Yeah, I think the next thing in the mastermind is going to be catapult, and then he'll do spotlight. Yeah, they definitely do. And micro NQ stopping out. So we got a loss and a win on the micro NQ, partial loss. Now actually it's probably as big, yeah, it's bigger than a normal full loss, because that was a trade with a wick. The long trade that was a loss. So we're probably pretty close to break even right now on the micro NQ. And crude consolidating at the 200 EMA now. See where the next leg takes us. Other questions this morning. Looks like MNQ is going to be slowing down a little bit. Things usually slow down on it after 10:30. But not always. And a new long trade on crude now, and we're done this morning. That's 2 one and done. Actually, no, it took more than one trade this morning in the 9 a.m. session, but 2 winning sessions this morning. Well, could have been winning sessions. Just depends. Yeah, that's right. It was. Depending on the short trade at the 9 a.m. session, whether or not trade number 3 was the short or the long. Any other questions or comments? Questions, comments, discussion? No, you're quite welcome, Jeff. We'll see you in about half an hour in the mastermind training today at 11. If there are no other questions, I am going to bid everybody farewell for the week, and we will be back on Tuesday. Remember to check your volumes on any of the E-minis or micros index futures. Those will be transitioning most likely tomorrow by Tuesday anyway, but tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday would be my expectation for when we'll see those roll. See you on Tuesday, Private Eye. Everyone have a good one. And we'll see everybody next week. Have a good weekend.